If you don't mind, can I talk a little bit about Shahnameh, as I mentioned, written by Ferdowsi in around the 10th century in Iran. So some of it is historic, some of it is folkloric and mythological. And this is the story of Zwal and the Simberg. And the Simberg is a magical bird. And the reason I think this narrative is so interesting is it's kind of a reverse of racial discrimination and bias, which I think is very interesting paradox in today's world. So he was born to a great kingdom in Iran, and he was born albino as pure white. And he was outcasted for being all white and considered evil. And so the king, I don't know the name of the king, but the king at the time rejected him, and he was forced to, as a baby, as a toddler, and he was forced to live in the forest and left and abandoned. And this giant magical bird saw this baby and thought, oh, great, this is food for my nest, for my baby birds. But it turns out that the baby Sinbergs embraced him as a brother. And then this magical bird raised him to be this great warrior and hero. It's almost like a Tarzan story. And so he became this wonderful warrior in the woods, and then tales of his escapades in the forest came back to the kingdom. And eventually the king sought him out and embraced him and brought him back into the kingdom. And so I just think it's an interesting twist on race and how we perceive, the marginalized or the other. And in this case, eventually he was heralded as a great prince and married into the kingdom and so forth. But I think what I loved about this story is that the magic of it, and also the fact that he survived in close to nature and became one with the animals, and really it's a heroic tale of survival. And then as far as the materials, I'm always challenging myself to go beyond what I did before, which is positive and negative, because in doing so, I waste a lot of time with failing. I try something, it doesn't work, and then I try it again. And I haven't talked about my husband at all, but he's my best critic. So whenever I'm working, Hitoshi, I'm like, Hitoshi, I think I should just push this really far. He's like, go for it, do it. So I was doing pattern on pattern. I was building the layering. I was creating grommets. I wanted to go beyond the 2D surface of the wall into the space. And then I also wanted to do something new, which I haven't done before, which is to kind of create a sphere or a circle. And in doing so, I was really happy with how it came out, because a couple people have told me it's like looking into a window into another world, and it kind of brings you in, and then the paracord kind of feels like waterfalls. And then I kind of like this notion of going from 2D into 3D and kind of bringing you into an imaginary world, into the real world, and then kind of leaving you there to ponder. And so, although I don't consider myself a quilt artist, this is quilted. It has some drama with the fringe, and I really enjoyed making all of these modular shapes. And when I teach, a couple of my students are here, and we've done this amazing laser cutting project with fashion students where they did modular design. That actually, my students inspire me. And so although these aren't laser cut, they were indirectly informed by that process of repetition and vector graphics. And so, yeah, that was kind of how that evolved.